The Nintendo Switch 2 Handheld Boost Mode is one of the biggest updates that the Switch 2 has had so far, and we can see a side-by-side comparison to see if it does make a difference. So let's check it out. For the first test, I will be checking out Super Mario Odyssey. So this is currently running with the boost mode off, and this is what it looks like. And now I will go ahead and turn boost mode on and see if the graphics are indeed better. Now what I can see is that I think the game does look a bit crisper and cleaner, so maybe a slight resolution boost, but in terms of the FPS it's the same smoothness as before. So with this game you are getting increased resolution and more clarity, so it does make a difference, and I think it's going to make a difference in pretty much every game, because every game is going to get at least at the bare minimum a slight resolution boost. So it's looking pretty good actually, very good. This game already was one of the best looking games I've ever played, and now it's even better thanks to boost mode. For the next test is Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition. This is one of the best looking 2D games you can get on the Switch 2. This is what it looks like with the boost mode off, and to be honest with you, it looks very nice. It's running at around, I think, 60 FPS. It does use HDR, so it makes full use of the Switch 2 screen, and even with the boost mode off, it's looking very nice actually. Now let's test it with boost mode on. Now what I can see is I can see a slight resolution increase. It, in terms of the smoothness, is exactly the same, at least to my eyes, but the image does look cleaner and crisper, possibly due to increased resolution, and it does look overall better. So definitely a really good feature for this game. So definitely turn boost mode on for Ori and the Forest. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Let's see how this game looks with boost mode off. I can see some jagged edges, which I really hate, but this is a Switch 1 game running on an 8-inch screen, so you know, don't expect the best graphics. So this is what it looks like. Now look at the leaves and the edges of the leaves. There's a lot of jagged edges. I hope if I turn boost mode on, it's gonna get rid of that. So I'm not sure if you guys just saw, there was a very noticeable resolution increase, and those jagged edges are very hard to see now. This is absolutely amazing, because now you can play Switch 1 games and they will look like, you know, they're running at a higher resolution, and might even look like they're Switch 2 games now, which is absolutely crazy. So really amazing. So I'm really happy for you know, this feature to be on the Nintendo Switch 2, because now, you know, no more jagged edges for most games, so that's absolutely great. Next up is Super Mario Maker 2, so let's check it out. Now this is with boost mode off, and if I look into, let's say, over here, I can see some jagged edges in the wood here. So if you look at the board and the edges of the board, there are some jagged edges if I move the character around, and the same thing here. So now with boost mode on, it's much harder to see the jagged edges, and overall there seems to be a slight resolution increase, but to be honest with you, it's not that big of a difference. Like, it still looks 95% the same. I don't think you'll be able to tell much of a difference unless you are seeing it side by side with boost mode on. So with this 2D game, it's not going to make that much of a difference. There are other games in which it will make in which it will make a much bigger difference. But still, the overall image quality is a bit clearer with boost mode on. So next up is Bowser's Fury, a game that comes with Super Mario 3D World. So let's see how this game plays with boost mode off. Now I do remember this game playing around 30 FPS on the Nintendo Switch 1. So let's see how it performs on the Nintendo Switch 2 with boost mode off. Now one thing I can notice is that this game, even with boost mode off, looks like it's running at a higher FPS. So I'm guessing Nintendo has upgraded this game even without the boost mode on. So it's looking really nice actually, much better than I remember on the Switch 1. So this is what it looks like with boost mode off. Now let's see what it looks like with boost mode on. With boost mode on, there isn't a drastic increase, but it does look overall crisper and cleaner, possibly due to higher resolution, because the game is now in docked mode, and Switch 1 games that are usually in docked mode run at higher resolution. So it does look a little bit crisper and cleaner, but overall it looks very smooth and very nice. So the boost mode on the Switch 2 really does make a difference on basically every single Nintendo Switch 1 game. Next up is Super Mario 3D World. Now this is with boost mode off, and it's already looking amazing because this is one of the best 3D Mario games I've ever played. Even though it was released for the Switch 1, in my opinion it looks amazing even with boost mode off. I just wish it had a 360 degrees camera like Super Mario Odyssey. With boost mode on, it seems like the image is much clearer due to the higher resolution, I'm guessing. In terms of the smoothness, it's exactly the same. It's just that the overall image is a bit clearer and crisper, because with boost mode it puts the game in docked mode, and in docked mode most games run at increased resolution. So overall this mode is doing an amazing job for Switch 1 games, putting them in docked mode to give you a much clearer image, so higher resolution, and in some cases even better FPS, which is absolutely amazing. The only drawback is that the touchscreen will not work. So if you're playing a Switch 1 game that relies on the touchscreen will not work when you put it in boost mode. So in that case you may need to turn boost mode off, but other than that, this is absolutely an amazing update for the Nintendo Switch 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.